Okay, thank you for introducing. We just came out, we were on vacation for a week, and I was excited to come down to celebrate this. This is a great celebration. Greg and the IMPaX, fantastic. You're doing a great job. And I'm going to tell you why it's a great job, because my story, I am a doctor of chiropractic. I'm a clinical nutritionist. My specialty is myofascial release and energy balancing. So I had not heard, I think in the early 90s, I was acquainted with IMPaX and their products. That was after me graduating at my chiropractic degree and also my clinical nutrition. And so in clinical nutrition, we're focusing on not just food, but how the body is using food. Things like what we've focused on is detoxification. We find that our health is so important. The important part of health is more of how we clean our bodies, the detoxification process. And so I was really familiar with how we do liver detoxes and bowel detoxifications, things like that. And then I got involved with this IMPaX. And I learned more about it from my wife, who's a competitive athlete, she's now a competitive athlete, but at the time she was a struggling, I didn't say that, honey, a housewife who thought, I want to go back into something she had done before and play soccer again. And so we met this, we tried this green drink. And as a clinical nutritionist, there's a lot of products out there that I'm familiar with, but she came back and told me that product alone gave her the energy and the stamina and the strength to play soccer, and that I lived with it every day. And then eventually I started to take it and realized how effective it is for a liver and kidney and the things that I use in my practice. So I can testify that I use IMPaX daily with patients and myself because it works. My beginning was really about searching how better we can improve our health, because I was a struggling athlete, because I will say that in my youth, and I wasn't repairing fast enough. So my health and becoming into healthcare was really driven by dissatisfaction with my own health, which drove me to the point where, hey, you know what? You can't fight. You can't go to your regular doctor for sports injuries or long-term problems. I had to figure it out myself, and I got my doctorate degree and really happy helping other people learn what I've learned over the years. And like I said, the first thing I learned about health is our body has a toxicity problem. And anybody who is trying to help you must address that. It isn't just here's a superfood and take this wonderful thing that's helpful, but you really have to identify what's stopping your body from functioning. So that you've got to shift, okay, how can I clean first? And so with the IMPaX understands detoxification is that important. And if you don't detox, all you're doing is adding more great food to a body that can't process. So it worked. We understood each other very well. That was really nice. And then along the way, one of the things I've learned, the neurology of the body is so affected by the pH level in the blood. And I've known that. But then the idea of having a water that you drink every day, which can actually calibrate and control your pH in the blood, which controls the hormone system, is amazing. The idea of having a quality water that adjusts your pH, that directly affects endocrine system and all the endocrine organs. So that's another marvelous thing. And then the idea of adjusting the hormones and correcting that leads into things like how can we live longer, more healthy. The whole anti-aging is really connected how our body is using hormones. Not just the sex hormones, of course, but even things like insulin. It's so important. So I'd like to congratulate Greg and IMPaX for having the stores that's available. It's beautiful and it's very multifunctional, of course. But I'd like to say this seems to be sort of like a one-shop, one-stop facility that we can all benefit from. And I, for one, as a clinician, says, yeah, keep up the great job. It seems like you've got everything covered. You've got the detoxification, you've got your pH balancing, and you've got the hormone balancing as well. And if I don't mention, I'm doing more lectures here about ENA labs, or the way IMPaX is connected to the ability to evaluate your hormone panel to clearly, more accurately start the adjustments at that level. And for those who aren't, I'll just give you a brief overview of what that is. typically, if you're having symptoms, you went to a doc and they're going to try to pigeonhole you into this particular problem, or and if you start saying you have fatigue or hormone related or performance, they're going to try to give you one thing, and even some of the lab tests they do are not going to be accurate enough to find the exact correction for you. And this particular lab that we're using has the experience to find a solution with one quick lab test, a saliva test, that will put you into this is who you are, which skips lots and lots of successive tests and labs. So it's a very nice, it's an excellent way to accurately find out where your imbalance is, and then they give you the natural products to bring you back to your balance as far as hormones are concerned. So it's like you've got such a wide variety of tools and supports here. It's just absolutely amazing. So thank you, enjoy the day, and I'll talk to anybody about my clinical experience with the products, but I just give a thumbs up. It's the best. Thank you, Greg.